Hey there, it's Wanda Baader here from Strategize Your Success, and together with my co-host Cynthia Bazin from Smart Chick, we are Hot Tips for Biz, bringing hot experts with hot tips for you every week. Today we've got Debbie Savano joining us as our guest expert, and we have Dan Goodwin joining us as our guest host. I'm going to give the show over to my wonderful co-host Cynthia Bazin so that she can start us off.
Hi everyone, Cynthia Bazin here from Smart Chick with Hot Tips for Biz. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Wanda, for that great introduction. All right, this is a 30-minute show. It goes by super fast, and I got to tell you, I am super excited to have one of my favorite people in the world on the show today. Her name is Debbie Saviano, and she is from debbiesaviano.com. She is a social media design strategist, but just an overall fabulous person. So without further ado, I want to introduce Debbie. Debbie, thank you so much for being on Hot Tips for Biz today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. It's awesome. Thank you.
So, Debbie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your business, if you want to talk a little bit about your background. Let's get to know you a little bit for those that don't know you, although I think so many people know about you.
You're too kind. We just run the same circles, my friend. Well, my first career, I was in education. I started out driving a school bus, finished that career after being principal of 5 campuses, preschool to pre-K to high school. So I love relationships, I love education, I love training. So natural progression. Second career, I am involved in social media. It wasn't planned, there wasn't a business plan or a systematic journey of that. It just kind of happened because I taught myself social media. So I go around the country speaking and teaching people how to use social media, and my expert, if you will, though I'm the closest to, is LinkedIn. It's a professional platform, and so LinkedIn is the one. But if I have to name my second favorite, it's Twitter, so I'm so excited we're going to talk about today.
And, you know, that's how I've gotten really to know Debbie over the last couple of years, is on social media. And everyone, she is the best at it. So we've got the expert today to talk about Twitter. So, you know what, I thank you, Dan Goodwin from ourconnectedlives.com, and Wanda Baader from Strategize Your Success, and Debbie Saviano from debbiesaviano.com. Okay, we are going to talk about Twitter today. Let's get right to it, Debbie. So, tell us, why do we need to be on Twitter?
Well, I always say, in every social media platform has the reasons to be there, right? Depends on who the people are you're trying to reach. LinkedIn's a professional Rolodex. It's a must. Twitter is amazing because it's quick, it's fast, it's like being in a fast-paced conversation. You have over 300 million users, 500 million tweets a month. 80% of it's done on mobile, which is what everyone is moving to, especially if you're in a millennial generation, 21 to 35, give or take ages. So Twitter is powerful because that's where the brands are. And so we want to be where the brands are, where the action is, where we can get in, have a fast conversation, designate who we're trying to talk to, and know it's a powerful reason for being there. So, yeah, Twitter's huge.
Debbie, can you repeat that number? How many people are on Twitter right now?
Actually, I think right now they're saying 302 million. 302 million is what they're saying. But it's over 300 million. And a year ago, people were saying, was Twitter going to last? Anyone who keeps up with in the magazines, people were giving Twitter a bad time. They have totally revamped and totally hitting the target right now. So over 300 million. But 500 million tweets a day.
Wanda, did you realize that, how many people were on Twitter? I don't think I realized, and how many tweets go out a day. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely something that I keep up with because it's part of my business. But yeah, it's a great platform.
Dan, how excited are you to learn from Debbie Saviano today about Twitter? I know you and I are connected on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely, Cindy, and thanks for having me on today. I tell you what, the whole Twitterverse.
I love that.
I need to know. I mean, just from a personal, from some new projects that I'm launching. My goal today is to learn from Debbie, as hopefully everyone else is, to figure out how do we break into Twitter and why should we? And I'm just excited to be here.
Awesome. And Debbie, you know what, before we start off with the other questions, you know, people just, you know, get overwhelmed by Twitter sometimes because, again, they're so used to, you know, spelling out things on blogs and putting on Facebook long posts. I mean, you really have to be really strategic in what you do on Twitter. But I love it because it's short, it's sweet, it gets to the point, and you can do it quick. And I know that that's probably one of the things you love about it too, right?
Absolutely, and the fact that because everything is organic, it's fluid, it's moving as the users are using it, regardless of the platform we're talking about. But with Twitter, it's something that's used during the week because it's more of an urban, if you will, when it first started. So 11 to 1 is prime time to tweet, but Cynthia and I are, and Wanda as well, we're all on there together, so we're always tweeting all the time and retweeting each other's things. But the fact that you can go on there, and you do have to be quick. And I used to joke, I couldn't say hello in 140 characters because I like to talk. I'm a Southern girl, right? But it makes you strategize. Don't you like that, Wanda? Makes you strategize why you're doing Twitter, what it is it's about. And you have to think and be focused and get to the point, which really is what people want. People don't want to have 15 paragraphs of content. They want to be able to peruse. And so Twitter with 140 characters, they make us do it, which is huge. Yeah.
Okay, Debbie, before we jump into the other questions, because what you are masterful is that you just don't tweet, is that all social media outlets, but Twitter especially, you really have to connect with the people you are tweeting to and people that are connecting with you, correct? What is the importance of relationship building on social media, if you wouldn't mind touching on that, because I think that's really the overall theme about social media, correct?
It is, and that's one of the things I get so excited about, and I was thinking about this earlier today, because people, we crave relationships. That's what we want. We're humans. That's something that we want, are relationships. So a lot of people look at social media as this thing they've got to do, another job, another task, and I look at it as, oh my gosh, there's all these people in the world I can connect and meet with. So it's physical space and it's virtual space. And Twitter, like all the platforms, Twitter lets us go in and connect with people who have like interests. And because it's so strategic and systematic, you can easily find who those people are. And so there's tips and strategies to getting to those people and making sure when they hit your Twitter platform that they know who you are and what you do. That's the key. This is not about us. It's how we solve other people's problems, how we offer solutions. But people want to do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. We all say that all the time, and it's true. They don't. When they need a business of whatever it is we're doing, or a product or a service, if they know us and like us, they're going to come to us. But they have to know and like us first, and we have to spend the time engaging with them, so when they do need us, we're the ones they're coming to.
Right. Wanda, do you have anything to say in response to that? I mean, this is such a quick show. We could have Debbie on for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. This is such a great subject. Anything to say to what Debbie just said?
Well, it's I think a lot of people do forget, because we do have some great tools to automate our processes in our business, is that they forget once they start automating that there is that social aspect to being social. So, make sure that you are engaging with people who are trying to engage with you, and making sure that you also get on your platforms. I mean, if you're going to bother to be on platforms, be on platforms. Don't just jump off and jump on every couple of days. It just doesn't work that way anymore.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Debbie, let's start off. Someone just says, you know what, they want to get on Twitter, or you know what, they're on Twitter, but you know what, they don't know how to design their profile. So one of the points that you want to talk about today is about designing a strong Twitter profile.
Right, right.
How important is that, and can you walk us through some smart tips on how to develop that?
Absolutely. So the first thing, and I always say these two words, no matter what platform I'm talking about, it is critical, and I underline critical. Clarity and consistency. Just like Wanda just said about being consistent in the engagement, and I totally agree with her on that. It's the same thing with the information that we have on the social media platforms, meaning that when people find you, regardless of what platform it is, they must know immediately it's you, because we're easily sidetracked, we're busy, life is hectic and chaotic. So the same picture, the picture on your Twitter profile should be the same picture you have on every other profile. And ladies, and I say this to ladies because Dan will agree with this, men are better at this than we are. We like to have pictures that are 20 years old, old, past, right? That don't look like us. So you want the picture to be the same one. People have to recognize us. The next thing is, it's kind of like a litmus test. What is it that you look for when you're trying to find information on someone, right? So you want to be talking to your ideal client in that profile bio. You can do 160 characters in your profile bio, and you want to use the 160 characters to give the keywords, to say why you, to give solutions, to give hashtags, but speak to the visitor that's the ideal person you want to come there. People must know about you immediately when they get there, because maybe the only place they find you.
Okay, Debbie, I know you are awesome at this. I want to put you on the spot for a little bit and get to know Dan for a few minutes. So, Dan.
Yeah.
Give us some keywords, tell us what you do, and I think Debbie will be able to give us some of those great words to put in your profile if you don't have them already. So describe yourself and kind of some words, that describe you best.
Okay, so heart-centered entrepreneur, let's see, generous or part of the generosity generation, looking to lead with a giving hand. These are just some key phrases that are important to me as I attempt to help people make that transition to an entrepreneur. So my heart is with those people that may have received the corporate buyouts. I was in that same spot 8 years ago, received the corporate buyout, and my heart is to help those people avoid some of the same mistakes that I made. So that's really important, because when you're a corporate employee, you think differently. It takes a little bit of a process and thought change to move to that entrepreneurial space. So those are just some of the key words.
Okay, perfect. Can I share?
Yes, please do. We're waiting.
Okay, and I just met Dan. You know that, Dan. So this isn't literally putting me on the spot, right? And I took my notes. Okay, so the first thing I would say is you're going to have your name up there, first of all. Then I would say something about servant leadership, because that's what you're doing, servant leadership. Something about corporate office to the entrepreneurial chair, something that shows people that used to be in corporate, now you're an entrepreneur, and you can help them get there too. I did it, I can help you. Short, sweet, to the point, let people know who you are and what you do. And having those keywords of servant leadership, from the heart, and again, you got 160, you got to play with the time and the spacing in there. But I definitely have servant leadership. I went from corporate office to entrepreneurial chair. I can help you too. And people immediately know what you do. Because see, then what they're going to do, if you create enough curiosity there, then they're going to want to go see your website or your LinkedIn profile, expecting that's where you're going to give all the information about how you can help them do that. Because see, we can't tell much in 160 characters. We can just tease enough to get their curiosity of why they want to come do business with you and why you can help them. From the heart. That's who you are. Yeah, so that's what I'd say. And that's truly on the spot.
So Debbie, just to give a couple other examples, so for yourself, what are some of the keywords that you use on your Twitter profile to kind of, again, that interest for people to learn more about you?
Okay. People always say to me, you speak all the time, and I say yes, and every social media platform I have, usually the first or third word on the platform, on the profile, is speaker. So people immediately know you're a speaker. That's the first one. LinkedIn is always there. So I've got hashtag LinkedIn. I've got hashtag speaker. And I say it on Twitter, something about LinkedIn strategist, helping you design a LinkedIn profile that rocks. And then I do something kind of different, because authenticity is critical in this area for all of us. You want to be able to speak from the heart who you are, just like Dan just said. I have 5 brands I love. They're authentic. I have a love affair with these 5 brands. And Cynthia and I are on one of them, Keurig Coffee, White House Black Market, Corner Bakery, Virgin Airlines, Kind Bars. So on my Twitter page, I say fan of, and I list those 5 brands, because that's who I am, and I'm always talking about them. So people who know me know that's authentic, because I'm always talking about those brands. I put it on my Twitter profile. And if we have time later, I can talk about the value of that, especially, well, with all of them, but one for sure.
We have to leave some time to talk about that. Even if we squeeze it in for 30 quick seconds, because it's absolutely amazing how, when you support those other brands, what they do for you. So I definitely want to carve out some time.
Yes.
Wanda, do you have any questions or anything to add about creating a Twitter profile?
No, I thought she did a wonderful job in putting Dan's together so quickly. Thank you for doing that, Debbie, and for responding so graciously to being put on the spot.
Yes, you know what? You were fabulous. So, Debbie, one other question that I have that a lot of people ask of me is that if you have your name and you also have your business name. If you're starting off Twitter fresh,
Yes.
should you have your Twitter name under your name or your business name?
Everything in life is a strategy, right? From the time we learn to walk, to ride a bike, to business, to school, to training, everything. So it's the same with social media. So it depends on what your long-term goal is. I personally prefer your name, because here's the reason I say that. If someone meets us at a party, a function, a networking, whatever, they're going to remember the name of the person. They might not remember the name of the business. With that said, and we could look at people like Martha Stewart and Oprah and things like that, and I know that if a person's wanting to sell their business later on, they have to look at it differently, because if you're going to sell, it's harder to sell the name of a person because you're the person, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to figure out why, but just on the spot being asked, I always recommend to have a name, because people remember names, and there's so much out there. When people go to search for you, they might, like for example, if I didn't know someone and I went to search on Twitter, they might not come up if I'm just going for their name. They might not come up because I haven't searched for them before, if I don't know the name of the business, when I might have forgot the name of the business. So, yeah. And again, that's a personal thing, and everyone's got their reason for it, and they have to just know in the deep of their heart why they're doing what they're doing and have a strategy for it.
Awesome.
If I'm saying fresh, I say name. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Debbie. Everyone, if you're catching us live or catching the replay, this is Hot Tips with Biz. My name is Cynthia Bazin. My co-host is Wanda Baader. We have Debbie Saviano of debbiesaviano.com and our guest host, Dan Goodwin from ourconnectedlives.com. So we appreciate everybody watching some amazing content about Twitter today, and we thank Debbie for being on. So we've developed a profile, Debbie. Okay, and now we're going to start tweeting out there. So we kind of touched on it already, but if you could talk about the best times to tweet, is it something that we just have to test out and see what works, or is there a really good strategy that you could give us?
I did an article, I think it was Kevin Lee on LinkedIn maybe a week or so ago, about the best times to tweet, and the research is showing between 11 and 1 o'clock, and it's weekdays as a whole. Now again, I always tell people when we're talking about this kind of things, that could change tomorrow, because this is based on the users, what we determine is efficient, what we want. But right now, 11 to 1, and you want to check if you're Pacific zone versus Central, because that's 11 to 1 Central zone, so you're going to have to back up or go forward, because that research was done on Central Zone time. So 11 to 1 is pretty good. And you know why people think it? Because it's lunchtime. People have a break. They can check their Twitter account. So because if that's where it started, was in the business arena in urban America, urban international. So again, there's always a reason for that. Like Facebook, it gets heavy at noon on Thursday because people are tired of working and they want to start thinking about the weekend. There's always a psychological strategy to it.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, because it's a platform for social. So people, noon on Thursday, Facebook gets heavy and goes through Sunday.
I'm writing that down. I need to reevaluate Facebook. Interesting. All right, we've got a couple great points that are going to take a few minutes for us to get through, and it's already 20 past the hour. This show is flying on by. So, all right, so I want to talk about connecting brands on Twitter. I want you to do a deeper dive into that because, you know, I want you to just lay it out there kind of about how effective it is to connect brands across Twitter, how it's worked for you, and what it will do for us.
Perfect. I'd like to tell you that I knew all this in the beginning. It was a strategy. That's not true. I'm going to tell you the total truth. It was the mistake that was not a mistake. It was just something I was playing with and it happened. Now it's a strategy, but in the beginning it was just like, oh my gosh, this works. People think they have to have a gazillion followers. The first thing I'm going to say is I don't recommend buying followers. That's not authentic. Don't buy followers. Because they're not real people. They're like having a room full of people who are not going to talk to you and be engaged. It's about engagement. So all the major brands, and I mean all the brands, are on Twitter. Anyone you can think of is on Twitter, and the number's growing daily. But let's say you have certain brands or individuals, influencers, however you want to look at it, that you want to get in front of. You know that if you can get someone from this organization to know who you are, it can increase your business. Make a list of those people, 3 to 5 to start with. I always say 5 is a good number. Make a list of them. Go to their Twitter profiles. Do their research. What keywords do they use? When are they tweeting? What are they tweeting about? And you start promoting them. Because the biggest success that I've had and that I work with clients on is when you promote others, it's just it's like the thing, the more you compliment someone else, it always comes back to us in a positive way because we're giving. So give, and give some more, but don't talk about business because you don't want to, and if people who know me know this, I don't talk about LinkedIn. I talk about everything else under the sun, but I don't talk about that stuff because I want them to come find me on LinkedIn or on my website. That's where they find about the details of what I do. But identify the brands, then start retweeting what they do. For example, I'm going to use Corner Bakery because it's such a cool story. So Corner Bakery, a few months back, because every time I'd go have a meeting at Corner Bakery, I'd say, I'd tweet and say I'm at my corner office, just fun stuff because, I was there and I loved it. Well, then they reached out to me, long story short. I was on their Google Hangout as a host, and then I did a tweet chat with their audience on Twitter. I had less than 3,000 followers at the time, which is nothing. I still don't have big numbers, but I have engagement, and so that's the key. So I was on the show. I met all these people across the country on that Twitter chat. So then I started doing corner meetups, and so when I travel, I invite people off of Twitter who live in certain areas to come and meet me for a corner meetup. So the tweet chat that I had reached out to some ladies in Southern California. I met women there who I'd never met in physical space, but I met them on the tweet chat. And now we're connected all the time and we retweet and stuff. But it gives you an opportunity to promote the brand because authentically I love Corner Bakery. And then they, in turn, do the same. They tweet and retweet about me every day. And not just me, anyone else, because, see, that's better than putting an ad in a magazine. That's powerful, too, and you want to do that, too. But to have us, word of mouth, throughout history has been known as the most powerful means of advertising. Well, now we have word of mouth virtual. And so it just expands the possibilities. So I was on Twitter when I was in California about a month or so ago, and I opened it. This was in May, actually, and I opened up Corner Bakery's Twitter page. They had me on their banner. They had put me on the banner from a picture I had posted online. So for 1 month, I was on Corner Bakery's banner. And like when I went to Arizona, Wanda came. We met. We had a great time. And we had some other ladies that came. And we had a corner meetup in Arizona. So I think I've done it in 5 different states now. But it's powerful because you meet people that you know virtually, but you wouldn't have known them in physical space. And it's amazing. People come. We have great conversations. We take pictures. We tweet and chat about Corner Bakery. And, of course, Corner Bakery loves it. So it's a win-win.
Wow. Okay, so, Dan, whose banner are you on?
Yeah, that's the question. Whose banner do I want to be on? I mean,
exactly. That's the question. Who do you want to be on?
Yeah, you can't buy publicity like that. That is awesome, Debbie.
Someone said to me, well, what is Corner, because they thought Corner Bakery paid me. I said, oh, they do pay me. And it's called influence. And it's a whole lot better currency than cash. Because, again, you're right. Who else can say? I mean, it was a huge honor. I was humbled by it. And then a few weeks ago, I got to go to Corner Bakery's office and got to do a tour with the people and everything. So it opens doors. And I have stories of Virgin Airlines where that stuff has been done with me. Kind Bars. Oh, my gosh, Kind Bars. I'm in love with Kind Bars. White House Black Market. So who are the brands that you want to connect with and start tweeting and authentically promoting them?
Yes.
The favor will be returned.
You know, Debbie, if you wouldn't mind sharing, because this is so unbelievable, some of the things that have happened for you, another story having to do with the brands real quick, because to me, again, it's just amazing how you connect with people and brands. If you wouldn't mind sharing either the Kind Bar story or the clothing Black House, White House market, because both of them, I'm telling you, I'm blown away on what has happened for all of you. I think it's just great.
It's so cool, and I love White House Black Market. Anybody who knows me knows that's all. Those are the only clothes I wear. But I'm gonna go with Kind Bars, and the reason is, matter of fact, oh my gosh, looky here, I have the book in front of me. I didn't even know.
Kind Bars.
Yeah, Kind Bars. So, and I'm gonna give Roberto Candelera a compliment for this, because I had gone to his sponsorship boot camp, and when he was talking, I thought to myself, wait a minute, there's other ways to look at sponsorships. And what I did then was convert what he had shared with us to what I do now with the brands, what I'm talking about. But with Kind Bars, they give me Kind Bars every month. So about 2 years, I guess a year and a half ago now, I was at the airport, had my Inc. magazine, had a Kind Bar, I was reading the magazine, and there was an article on the CEO, Daniel Lubusky, in the magazine. Took the kind bar, took a picture, tweeted it, and tweeted it, got on the plane, came home. Well, he had retweeted it and said some things about being a kind, awesome fan and stuff, etc. And so I then was getting ready to have an event, my first event. So I thought, I'm going to ask him if he'll give me kind bars. Long story short, he did. They still give me kind bars every month. I go into Dallas. Arturo, who's in Dallas, meets me at the warehouse. They give me kind bars. And Cynthia knows this, Wanda knows this. When I speak, I pass out kind bars. I tell the story. I talk about the power of social media and all the great kind things that they do in the company, which they do incredible things around the world. I pass out the bars. We take pictures. We tweet. We do a video. We talk about kind bars. So see, that's exponential possibilities of what you can do for a brand that you truly do believe in. That is really, to me, what the future is, because that's social media at its best. So yeah, I mean, all those brands I have on there I love, but kind bars, every month I go get kind bars down at the warehouse with Arturo. So yeah.
Wanda, I'm sure you've heard that story before, but I mean, just how fortunate are we to have Debbie Saviano today to share these experiences with us and give us food for thought on how we can connect better, right, with other people and brands.
Absolutely. It's it kind of opens up your eyes to the possibilities of, what are your favorite brands and how can you, maybe try to incorporate that into your Twitter strategy. Obviously, like you said, you want to be an original. You don't want to just do it because, you think you're going to get something out of it, but it's just the cool thing.
Well, and it's a win-win because I do all those, and Wanda's so right, all those brands I do believe in. And so for me, and there's so many people who, when I speak and pass out the bars, they hadn't heard of kind bars. I got an email yesterday from someone who heard me speaking in California last week, and she said, I didn't want to admit it when you were speaking, but I'd never heard of kind bars. She goes, but I went and bought one. She goes, oh my gosh, I'm in love. So me doing that, I'm spreading the word about a company that does amazing things around the world with a healthy bar, a healthy resource for snacks. So it's a win-win, because when you can share information with your family and friends that's going to be beneficial to them, it's a great thing to be able to do. It's an awesome thing. So yeah.
Oh, love those stories, Debbie. One of our final points before you tell the audience what you're up to and what's next for Debbie Saviano is, let's just really touch quick on the strategy for those 140 characters that we need to tweet out. Is that for people to go, you know what, I have no idea what to tweet. So, let's take out the retweeting of people. So say, for example, for Wanda, for Strategize Your Success, her business, is that it can't be all business stuff. So what other stuff should you tweet out there when you're putting original content out there? What are some strategic things?
And that's a really powerful thing, Cynthia, because you're right. Giving people valued content is wonderful. Because sometimes you'll go to a Twitter account and you'll see all they do is say thank you for the retweets. Well, that doesn't give anybody any value. So and again, I'm a little bit different on this case, but I believe if we can make people smile or feel good, we've done a good thing for the day. So I'm a huge fan of images. I think images, our brain, and of course the teacher in me, the educator, our brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. So images are huge for us. So nature, flowers, pets, children, vacations, anything that we can, quotes are huge. Those just make people feel good, and I think they're powerful. Then the next thing would be, for example, when Dan was talking earlier about corporate to entrepreneurial, what are some stories he can share, some articles he can share that will be of value to the people he's wanting to attract? Infographics are huge. People love infographics. People love statistics. But if you can put them into an image form that's engaging, I think that's a very powerful way to do it, because then people will not only read it, then they'll retweet it and share it. And I don't know if we have time for a tweet chat to talk about that for a second, or list, but those are both extremely valuable when it comes to knowing who to stay in touch with and make sure you're staying in front of people that you want to stay in front of, because it's a busy world out there for all of us. So anyway.
Awesome. And you know what, we can put that in the forum, in the Google forum, as far as the tweet chat stuff. So Debbie, we are closing in on the half hour. I can't believe it. Like I told you, didn't I tell you it was going to go fast? Oh my gosh. I hope everybody's been taking notes. But Debbie, why don't you talk to us about what you're doing now, what's next, whatever you'd love to share with the audience.
Well, some huge, and I know Dan has got some great things coming out too, which I'm going to go follow up as well with his stuff. But July 15th, I launch a new business with three other ladies that I've been working on for a year. Has to do with women in leadership. I am so excited about it. I'll still be doing the social media and everything, but the four of us, have combined our love of helping women, kind of like Dan wants to help corporate entrepreneurs. We want to help women with leadership, and so July 15th it launches, so they can stay tuned there. July 29th, I'm having an event in Dallas that's just very informal, called Fabulous Females, which I've had twice in the area. Started doing it last year, and it's just women coming together. We'll have a lot of PR that day too, because we'll all be together. But July 15th is a big day for me, so yeah, for us, because of the things we're doing. Very excited.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Debbie.
We're very excited.
Debbie, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. DebbieSaviano.com. I know everybody out in the audience got some fantastic tips about Twitter and social media in general. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're one of my favorite people. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to throw it back to my co-host, Wanda Baader, and finish us off for this fabulous show.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Dan. And, of course, thank you to my wonderful co-host. And I want to just say we're here every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you wonderful tips like Debbie has shared with us today. So please be sure to join us next Monday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Debbie.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.